Okay, so now that you've had time to review our lectures on Adobe Bridge, let's take a few more minutes and let's run through some exercises that I think will help summarize our lectures and highlight the important exercises we want you to learn that'll help you with your future lessons. So let's simply start off with opening Bridge. You should already find out what the best way is for you. If you're on a Mac, you're using Finder or Spotlight. If you're on a PC, you can simply go ahead, type in Bridge, find it there, or through your Start menu here. Click on it, open it. If you're on your own personal laptop like I am, I have Photoshop saved in my taskbar. You can do that with Bridge and any other icon you might want to use. So once Bridge opens, we're going to come here and see all of our folders set up and find out where our images are that we want to look through, sort, highlight, rate, and view metadata on. So mine are organized simply from my desktop to a file labeled images, and then that's where we land here. So from here, let's start with looking at metadata. We talked about in the lecture that that's going to be all the information from when the shot was taken, how it was taken, whether on a phone or digital camera, and what settings were used. That can be very important if you're a photographer, and even if you're not, it can help you figure out how to take stronger images and what you may or may not need to change so you have less editing to do in the future. So if I click on this image without double clicking, because double clicking will just open in your default Photoshop viewer, and you'll have to sit here and close and open Photoshop every single time you double click. It's a habit that's hard for me to stop doing, which is why I'm taking an extra couple seconds to talk about that. So clicking on it once, you can see you can view a larger thumbnail off to the right, and you see here next to keywords and metadata that you want to drag this up here. We don't really need a thumbnail at all, so for this part I'm going to go ahead, click metadata so we can view the metadata. So depending on what image we choose and click on, metadata will change from the date that it was created. See here, May 12, 2016 at 2:31 p.m. Date that was modified, which is today right now. The dimensions, and if you come down here, depending on how you took it, it'll have some more camera data. So let's choose one just for an example that I took on my iPhone of my little buddy Angel taking a nap. And now you see you have the f-stop, the ISO, the automatic white balance, and your shutter speed all chosen here. Still, again, it has the date it was created, date it was modified, all the dimensions, color mode, and now some more camera data saying it was on an iPhone 6. The flash did not fire. So if you download images from OpenGraphicsArt, this is what I did here. Just by saving them, it didn't keep all of the data. So I want to show you that as an example. I'll have the GPS location for you, everything you need to know from that image. If you have another image that maybe you didn't grab from the internet, application, Instagram. So it's pretty helpful in determining where an image is from, if it has all the parameters you need to edit an image at full resolution, and also just to make sure it is your own, and you're not taking it from someone else and no one's taking it from you. So simply click on an image once, off to your right, view metadata by clicking on metadata. Now you see as I close that thumbnail to be a little smaller, because I can view these just fine. If you can't, you can easily zoom in on your content frame. Excuse me. You can easily zoom in on your content frame. So let's do that, and let's choose one image and make it really, really big. Hope this doesn't scare anybody. We're going to go ahead and zoom in and make that really, really big. I don't want to make it too big, even though you can with the slider. But let's make it so it fits in the frame, and it's the only picture we see. And let's do that. And then let's start off and label our image, depending on how much we like the aesthetic value or what we want to do with it, from 1 to 5. You can do that with your stars here, just by clicking on it. And that's a 4 out of 5. I might put that at a 2 out of 5. It's a little dark. It's just has some cool emotional appeal for me, even though he's still angry at me. Again, we're talking about labeling from 1 to 5 stars, and you can do that up here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars in your label menu. Or if you want to remember as you use this more and more, Control 4, 3, 2, 1, and 5 to rate the stars as a shortcut. If you're on a Mac, I'm sure it'll tell you differently to use Command and 1, but every time you're in a menu like this, it'll tell you what your shortcuts are. So let's do that. I'll click, maybe I don't want 2 stars, maybe I'll put it back to 3 stars, and I'll do Control 3, and you see the star change there for us. Again, what that's going to do is allow you to sort your images later, as we're using Bridge to organize. If there you have an image rated at 1 star because you don't like it as much, now that you can see it on your screen, you don't have to sort through those. You can just choose the top images you want to edit from the beginning and view them with your star rating. Again, we can continue scrolling and choose another image here, staying in the same view. Select it with our mouse, and let's maybe use color to label that. So again, a couple different ways to do that. Come up to label your color rating, and you'll have to learn which one select, second, approved, and review is. Again, there are shortcuts for you to use, Control 9, 8, 7, and 6. So let's go ahead and do approved, because that's very simply green. And as we mentioned before, green means go, and that's a very easy one to remember. If you were not using the label menu, again, if you right click on here, label, select second, approved, review to do another way to do something. Similar to using the Adobe software, there's always multiple ways to do things. Just make sure you find the right way to do it and do it the way that works best for you. If you do have any questions, feel free to email us. But that's simply what we're going to use Bridge for: organizing by 1, moving them into folders, and 2, being able to view all the data and dates and star rating and color rating. Any questions? Send us an email, inbox us on Canvas. Thanks for watching.